Welcome back to my channel. My name is Andres Haro, and today we will start working with Android development. If you're thinking of becoming an Android development, I will recommend you to start working with the new certification from Google, which is called Android Development with Kotlin, and it's totally free of charge. Also, another thing that I would like to say is that you can purchase some courses through Udemy, Coursera, and many other platforms to make sure that you will gain these programming skills without spending a lot of money. And one of the best examples for this Google program is you're gonna open your Chrome browser and you're just gonna look for Grow with Google. You go to the first link, you scroll down, and as soon as you scroll down, you're gonna be able to see this, which is Android development. And you can, if you click on Get Started, one of the greatest things that you're gonna have is that you can get a certification from Google, and that is gonna show you how to programming with this programming language, which is Kotlin, and it's just gonna show you how to play with layouts, navigation, connect to the internet. When it means connect to the internet, is that you're gonna be using APIs to be able to connect to multiple platforms, and then maybe you can build weather application. You can build like you can put images. You can try to collect images from um, any other software or any other platform that is allowed to play with the APIs to make sure that you are going to be able to do it. And also data persistence is just to know how to use Android and databases. And this is really great content, and this is great information that you can do. The other thing that I was just saying is that you can use Coursera, you can use Udemy, and all of these places are going to offer really good places to learn. And as you can see, I have many different courses, and I'm planning to purchase more courses just to make sure that I can keep with my knowledge. One another thing that I would like to say is that if you wanna start playing with Kotlin, one thing that you can do is open an IDE, which is online, and you can do Kotlin Playground. And if you do that, you're gonna be able to click on the first link, and it's just gonna open the IDE, which is only for Kotlin. And this one is gonna allow you to start running applications without having any other issues. Of course, you have to download Android Studio, but I think that specific video is gonna be it's just gonna be for the next video to make sure that I can teach you how to download Android Studio. One of the basic concepts that you have to learn is that on Android, all the time you're gonna have a function which is gonna be called main. The main function is just gonna allow you to play with multiple different functions and multiple different variables inside of this function to make sure that it's gonna work. If you don't have this function called main, you're not gonna be able to use this format, and you're not gonna be able to play with any code with Kotlin. And as an example, I can change the name for my name, Alan, and if I run it, it's just gonna tell me that I have an issue with the no main method found in the project. However, if I type main, and since I have this comment which is print line hello world, it's just gonna allow me to see the hello world in here. Just gonna put my camera on this other side to make sure that we can see it. And this is one of the first things that we have to learn. The first thing that we have to learn is going to be more related to variables and to data types. And as you can see, we can delete this line because we don't need it. And the first thing that we have to learn is that we have two different types of variables, which is ball and is bar. The ball, this variable is just gonna be something that is unique, something that you're not gonna be able to change later on, something that you are not allowed to change, just to make sure that you keep it in mind. For example, one of the things that you cannot remove from your personal files or personal data is your social security number, right? We can call it SSN, we can call it equals, and we can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that's your social security number. And oh, and that's your social security number. As an example, we can use the other method of the variable, and we can use, let's say, we can do name. And if we do name, we can use my name, but we have to, since we are just gonna using since we are gonna be using letters, this is called a string because it's just letters, right? And if we try to print it out this information, we can just do print, and we are just gonna call SSN. We are just gonna print name, and let's see what it does. And we run it, and it's just gonna put everything together, right? Because we're printing this one and this other one. However, if I decided to just print one, I'm just gonna put one print statement, and I'm just gonna ask for the SSN, which is this variable SSN. But one of the things that I wanna say is that, for example, if you have 2838 and you say, you know what, I wanna change. Oh, yeah, you can do that. 2838. Let's see, do you wanna do a different number? Now, it's not gonna let you change any information because this is not replaceable. But also, if you try to do SSN, you try to do run, it's gonna tell you that you cannot be reassigned. What it means is that this value is already unique and it's information that it cannot change. However, if I go to name, I can do Francisco as an example. And I just want to print the name just to see what name is going to give me. And here, this is an interesting case where you can see that the name variable is going to change from Alan to Francisco because we are calling here the first variable is called name and has a value equals Alan. But the problem with this is that we can change the variable multiple different times into many different names. And it's just gonna go by a structure, like for it's just gonna be by a step by step. If you put the variable at the top, it's just gonna be getting replaced by the second statement that you are putting on. And as an example, I can change one more time the name, and I can just do Alejandro. And if we do that, it's just gonna print Alejandro because it's the last one. It's just gonna print the latest statement that you have for the variable. But as you can see, the first variable, which is called val, is not gonna be able to replace any information in here. This is one of the things that you have to remember to make sure that you're not gonna get into any issues. Another one, another type of information that you can learn in here is that to be able to comment something, you have to use 2 backslashes and you're gonna be able to type anything. Test and test, right? And if you print it out and if you run the statement, it's not gonna be able to print any of this because this is just a comment to make sure that you use it for as a reference or in the future, just in case that you wanna add a comment into your code and to make sure that other people is gonna know exactly what you're trying to accomplish. In this other case, we're just gonna delete this. And if you're gonna, as you can see here, integers are gonna be just numbers, and it can be multiple different numbers that you can add, right? Because you can use byte, you can use short, you can use integers, and you can use long, you can use float, and you can use doubles. And what I mean by that is that we can see, okay, we are just gonna use val, we can use my byte equals 13. Then we are just gonna use vol my short equals 125. 120, yeah, 25. And we are just gonna have a regular integer, and we are gonna call it my n because we have to use an n. Then we are just gonna specify what we are trying to use in here. And as soon as we do that, it's just gonna allow us to do more numbers. And of course, if we wanna use long numbers, we can just do the same thing. We're just gonna call ball, and we are just gonna use my long. Yeah, that's how we wanna call it. And we are just gonna call, we are just gonna specify that it's a long, and we are just gonna do equals. And we are just gonna be using a float number. Let's say we can use do ball one more time, and we can use we can call it my float. Just gonna close them. Make sure it's gonna be working for us. And let's a second. Let's delete this one, and let's see why it's on it. Okay, we're just gonna be using my float. We're just gonna specify that it's a float number, and we are just gonna specify 13.3, and we have to use an F at the end to make sure that it's gonna be able to work. 1.3 F. Then from here, if we want to call a double is a type of variable that, well, a type of data type that is just gonna allow you to be able to play with decimals. And as you can see here, we are just gonna call my double, and we are just gonna be 3.416, which is speed, right? And for that is some of this is just for the numbers. Oh, and we have to specify that it's a double. Then if we print all these statements, we can just print one by one. We can do my byte, right? We can print it. Let's see, expecting. In this IDE, it doesn't like this. We're just gonna copy in here. Oh, no. I know why it's not printing, because I forgot to put it the equals. That's why I was a little bit confused. Sorry guys for this. But we can just print this time in my byte, and it's gonna give us 13. If we do my short, we print it, we should be able to see exactly the same number that we have. And we do my integer, let's just delete this. It's gonna give us the whole number that we have in here, and vice versa. And for example, my float, you're gonna think that it's gonna appear the F, but the F is not gonna appear. It's just gonna appear the numbers, since we don't need it. This is just a tiny rule that we need. But if we print it out, you're gonna be able to see that the letter F is not gonna appear. This is just a basic concept that we have to use with Kotlin to make sure that we are just gonna be able to use it. And the same as with doubles. My double, and this is just a rule, a general rule, to make sure that all of the data types are gonna exist and are gonna be available. And another type of data types is just gonna be a Boolean, and we can just put a comment, and we can just do this is a Boolean. A Boolean is just a statement that is just gonna say that it's true or it's false, to make sure that it's gonna allow you to decide whatever you think is gonna be. And since you're gonna be using a variable that it can change, because it can change from a state from true to false, you normally start using this with variables, with var, and then you can do like it's sunny day. We can just asking, okay, it's gonna be a Boolean. No, Boolean. And we have a Boolean, we can do that is equals to true. And then we can just print this statement and ask if it's a sunny day. Maybe right now it's a lot of information that you're getting from this video, but one of the amazing things that you can do that you can remember is that if you say that is a Boolean, it's just gonna give you that is a sunny day, and it's just gonna tell you that it's true, because we put that is equals to true. And if we do the false, we change the statement to false, you're gonna be able to see that it's gonna tell you that it's false as a result. And from this, another thing that you have to learn is about characters. And we can do this is a character. And to make sure that you learn this really well, we are just gonna be able to use bold one more time. We are just gonna be able to say letter char equals, and we are gonna call it string, and we are just gonna call it like that. And we call it letter char. It's just gonna give us the letter A. And if it's gonna be a digit that has to be passed as a string, one thing that you can do is do the same thing. Ball dg chart. Let's do camel case in here. And you're just gonna have the number 1 like that. And we are just gonna say dg chart, and you're just gonna be able to print the number 1. And it's basically the same information as printing a number, but since you're printing a character, because part of the numbers can be a character, but you just want to print the character on the terminal without giving the number or the character a significant value. You just leave it as what it is right here, to make sure that you can print 1 on the terminal. As soon as you print that statement, it's not going to be replaceable, and you're not going to be able to change it. Another thing that you can learn today is just going to be about the strings. As we say, the strings are going to be something that it can be replaceable or something that it cannot change, right? But with the strings, and we can just say this is a string. With this information, you can do bar. Well, we can do ball my string, and we can do hello world. And if we print the my string, you will see that it's going to give us the value, which is hello world. And as an example from here, we can call the first well, just to make sure that you understand this part is that we can call whatever letter we want to call inside of the string, just to assure that it's maybe the first letter, the last letter, or that it's just gonna give us the value of the whole length from the whole string, just to make sure that we can just pass as a Boolean statement, just to see if it's true or if it's false. It's just depending on what you are trying to achieve. But if we do bar, we can see here that we are just gonna call for the first character, and I'm just gonna call it var in a string, and we are just gonna be my string, which is gonna be 0. We are just gonna call it the first one. Let's see what it does. As soon as we use this, it's just gonna give us the H, which is the first letter. But now, how can we get the last letter, right? You're gonna be thinking, how is the process and how we are gonna be able to call it? Well, the first thing that we have to do is we have to insert a variable, and I'm just gonna call it last chart string, and it's gonna be equals to my string, because it's how we call the variable, right? And as soon as we call it, we are just gonna open and do my string one more time. We are just gonna do that length, because we want to know what is inside of the whole string to be able to catch whatever is inside. And we can do -1, because we want to do the whole thing, because if we just do my string, the length is just going to give me the whole number of the letters from here, but I want to see what it is the real value. And since we start using 0, it's just going to start, the H is start counting like a 0 number, 1 2 3 4, and it's going to be 5 6 7 8 9, right? Well, and the space is going to count as well. But since we want to know the last one, we have to do -1. And as soon as we do that, we can just copy this into the print statement, and we can just call it, and it's just going to give us the last letter from the string. And this is how we can do it. Also, and just as a reference, we are normally going to see some comments on the left side, like these yellow marks. This is going to happen also inside of the Android Studio, just to make sure that you can receive recommendations or feedback, or any problems that you have with any variables or with any function that you are trying to call, or with any other problems that you run into. Is going to help you to, or is going to allow you to find the issue or what you can do to be able to fix that situation, or to make sure you can even make it more complex, or you can make an easy function or easy call to make sure that your program is going to work. This is just the beginning of Android development. This is just the first explanation of how variables and data types work. And as a reminder, just keep it up and we are just gonna continue with this type of videos to make sure that I can teach you a little bit more. Maybe right now it's a little bit it's confusing all these terms, but if you start thinking about it, it's not that complicated, but it can take time to learn this programming language. But as I said before, you can just go to the Android basics in Kotlin, and that is going to give you more context of what it is and how you can do that. And as you can see right here, you can get into the first block of the learning path, and it's just going to give an introduction. It's just going to help you to create your first app, build a basic layout, and add a button to an app. I'm not going to follow this pattern, but I'm just going to show you the basics first to make sure that we understand the concepts to be able to build the first application. Well, and since this is the end of the video, thank you so much, guys, and have a wonderful day.